Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today. I'm Deborah Garlick from Henpicked Menopause in the Workplace and Menopause Friendly UK and Australia. And today it's a little bit different for us. We're going to be covering the truth about period products. And you might ask why. And that's because, well, we're proud to partner with the Mooncup team, but when we first met them, they scared the pants off us. We've all used pads, tampons, whatever, for those of us that menstruate for years and years and years. But learning about the products was a very, very different experience from us. And as I say, we're past Halloween now, but that was some scary facts that they shared with us because we all need to know this to make informed choices. And one of the things I would say is well, let me introduce Emily Smith, and she'll tell you all about the things that she told us. And then you can make up your own mind. So, welcome, Emily. And I know I'm sorry, I did say that you scared us. You did. One of our team went straight home and bought some different period products for her daughter. So you clearly changed our hearts and minds. And we're a very caring organisation, caring and sharing. We'd like you to share your knowledge with everybody else, what you told us on that day. If you can start to explain some of the things that you mentioned to us around what's in mainstream period products that everybody needs to know about.
Yeah, of course. And hi everyone. Thanks so much for joining today. So yeah, my name's Emily. I'm head of B2B and partnerships here at Mooncup, and it's a really important topic and question to ask about what's in the pads and tampons and period products that we use, because for so long we've been in the dark about what it is that's in them, just using them every month without really questioning it. I guess trusting that what we've been handed by someone else is what we should be using without having that extra thought. And actually it is scary, right, Deborah, because starting with pads, first of all, they are made from up to 95% plastic. And that means they never ever break down. And from a planet impact point of view, that means the first pad that was ever made still hasn't broken down. So we're talking centuries, hundreds and hundreds of years slash never for these products to break down. And we each use roughly 11,000 period products in our menstruating lifetime. Um, and so 11,000 times never is a huge, huge amount of plastic that's just sitting in landfill. And that's, when I say that 95% of the pad is made from plastic, that's of course the top sheet, the top layer. But in some other types of pads, not necessarily mainstream, but some eco equivalents, underneath that top layer is what we call super absorbent polymers, SAP. If you basically an experiment at home, everyone, if you pour loads of water on a pad, as much as you can, and then get some scissors and open it up, you'll see this kind of like frog spawn jelly like substance, which are tiny artificial beads that expand when wet, to absorb the liquid. And they're effectively a type of plastic that they're even worse than hard plastics because they can't be reused, they can't be recycled, and they never ever break down. We in our products don't have anything like that, but that's obviously really terrible for the planet perspective. But not only that impact, but our impact on health, it's really important to question what's in the products that we use, because I'm sure we all know we shouldn't be reusing plastic water bottles, reusing single-use plastic water bottles, let's say. And that's, if you think about the leaching of the microplastics from a single-use plastic bottle, they leach roughly about 80 nanoplastics per litre of water. But a study just 2 years ago found that from one mainstream tampon, it leached up to 17 billion nanoplastics. And so it's just crazy that we just don't have access to this information, or we haven't until brands like ours are exposing it and revealing it, so that we basically have that choice to use products like Mooncup, our pads, tampons, menstrual cups, etc., that contain zero plastics, zero sap, zero microplastics, but also zero dyes and fragrances that irritate and can cause a whole host of gynecological issues, irritation, sensitivity that we all don't need.
Absolutely. And I'll come back to the point about our body because you just triggered me again with those
Sorry.
statistics. Well, you're right, actually, because you just buy them off the shelf. You've got no choice, really, have you? Or you didn't have a choice. It was what you had to use or what you use every month, or depending what your cycle is, and you
Yeah.
just buy them without thinking about it. It's one of life's essentials for all of us. So you don't even think about it. And they're tiny. If I think about tampons, they're absolutely tiny. But actually, when you think about how many periods we have and how many of us have periods, that is quite a lot of, what did you call it? It doesn't degrade.
Never,
It,
it doesn't
it
biodegrade. Yeah, it never breaks down.
no, and actually, that thing that you were saying about the frog spawn, this is one for us to all try at home. Go and find a
Yeah.
pan, pour a load of water all over it. And that's actually, I always saw that as a benefit, that's part of them not, not feeling damp.
Yeah, I mean, so sap, super absorbent polymer, that's in most period products. It's not in ours, as mentioned, because we really pride ourselves on not cutting corners and not putting any plastic in there. And we don't have it in ours because then our products are made from organic cotton, so it's naturally super absorbent. It doesn't. We don't need to put anything else in because it holds what you need to have that reassurance, and actually absorbs twice as much as other brands anyway. So just because we're zero plastic, zero irritants, doesn't mean we've cut any corners on performance, reassurance, durability, for example. But other brands put this sap in, this plastic in to hold that liquid because the top sheet, maybe if it's made of bamboo, for example, it isn't naturally absorbent enough to just have layers and layers of bamboo, that they have to add something else. So they do add this sap, which means it's not it's not 100% plastic free. And I think we can all agree that no one, once you've used a pad, no one's going to peel that eco top sheet off, right? You're not going to biodegrade that top sheet. You need the whole thing to break down. Um, so that's why it's important for us to make sure that our whole entire product breaks down, not just the top sheet.
Thank you. And the revelation for us is there is a choice because there's knowing about this stuff and then saying, so
Yeah.
what are the options? Because you've got to have your pads and your tampons. There are
Yeah.
lots of options.
Yeah, so many options. So I mean, when I joined the team 4.5 years ago, we were in just a handful of retailers, but we're now in Sainsbury's, Boots, Holland and Barrett, Asda, Mainstream, as well as a number of businesses, and hopefully more businesses to come, so that that access is there. But as a brand, we have not only pads, tampons, and liners, both non-applicator and applicator, but also, yeah, menstrual cups, period pants, just so that there's that holistic choice. I think even for myself, sort of 5 to 10 years ago, I would use just one typology, maybe just pads. But I think, and I know that it's changing for all of us, that we tend to use different things for different things, maybe sleeping in period pants, menstrual cup, moon cups for going on a holiday or when you're out for a long time during the day, pads when you're just at home, and tampons, swimming, exercise. So it is important that we have choice to different typologies, but also to having a choice between natural and the unknown, I guess, which we can now stay clear from if we want
You
to.
can now stay clear. So you can sort of go with your traditional products. The Moon Cup, that's one I've known about because one of my friends always used to swear by that, and
Yeah.
that is reusable.
Yeah, so the word I hear a lot is it's a game changer, and it changed my life, is what most people say when they tried a moon cup. It's 100% reusable. It holds, rather than absorbs menstrual blood, menstrual fluid, it collects it, and it holds the equivalent of 3 tampons. So amazing if you've got heavy periods, you can wear it on the go, you can wear it for up to 8 hours. So, and super comfortable. You can't feel it at all once you're wearing it, and it just gives you that just extra reassurance of not having to change so frequently because it holds 3 tampons worth. And so yeah, game changer. And also, I mean, I'm going on holiday next week, and rather than having to pack loads and loads of boxes of pads, you can just pack one Mooncup, and it takes a tiny amount of space in your suitcase. So even just little things like that.
Did you see on the program The Last of Us, which was one of the best series ever on TV, I think, and they actually had somebody, they gave a moon cup to somebody when they went into a community that had
Mhm.
been set up, and she just said, this is for you, and it was a moon.
Oh,
I thought that was really
wow, love
good.
that. Oh, I'll have to mental note to find that, and we can share that on our channels.
Well,
Love little media
and
footage.
here's another one. I mean, I didn't think I'd ever be showing my pants on a lunch and learn, but this is something that I've been trying. I haven't opened this box before, as you can tell, but I bought 3 of these. So I thought I'm going to have to give this a try. So there you go. There's my nudies by
Love to see it.
Boom Cup. Can you see them? Can't you?
Yes,
So
yeah,
they just
yeah,
look like black knickers. And for so many people, because these were never around when I started my periods, and I know we're talking about 50 years, but so it's taken a while. But these were something that I thought were really good for if you caught short, or if you're, we sometimes hear from people that are experiencing perimenopause that they lack confidence because they don't know if a period's coming. Well, you can wear these every day. I've bought 3 pairs. And I just thought, actually, they just look like normal knickers.
yeah. They're also so comfortable. I mean, I'm actually wearing some right now. Our pants currently absorb 4 tampons worth, and watch this space for absorbing even more to come. But yeah, super comfortable, and really just on the perimenopausal side, really supportive of that again, because when you are perimenopausal, you're more likely to experience symptoms of dryness and sensitivity, and it's really important that you're using products that are naturally breathable, hypoallergenic, and going to support that environment that is more sensitive than disrupt it. If you imagine putting a bin liner in your pants, I know it's quite crude, and the heat that it can generate from putting a bin liner in your pants can create a real hot, moist, humid environment where if you're already experiencing dryness sensitivity, that heat and moisture can basically make it even worse. Which if you're interested, I can share more details on.
Yeah,
Um,
please do. I mean, I've already declared people are probably going, well, why is Deborah buying those? Because she hasn't had, I haven't had period for 10 years.
yeah,
But actually, like a lot of women, and I'm not just our age, actually, sometimes I have one of those moments where I just think, a little bit of an ups moment. And I've tried these and tested them, and I know you don't market them in that sort of way. But I felt very confident wearing these, thinking, actually, I feel I've got a little bit of extra protection. Mine's not, I don't have, the X number of tears for incontinence. Mine's just the odd moment. So yeah, I
yeah.
think they're really, really nice.
And I think sometimes people, they are a higher price point to buy menstrual cup or period pants. But with the menstrual cup, with the moon cup, for example, um, they you can have it for 10 plus years. We were at a festival over the summer with the moon cup team, and we had someone come over saying they'd had it for 20 years. And so the price per period is like 19p. So it is maybe a higher upfront purchase, but actually, because you're using it for so long, it is actually much more cost efficient.
Yeah,
Um,
well, they're really good quality. So you said you've had yours for how long?
yeah, I've had mine since I joined for 4 years. My period pants, and yeah, I love them to bits.
Yeah, they really are very, very good. But I just want to come back to the health aspect,
Yeah,
because you were describing having a bin liner or a bin bag in your
yeah,
pants. And we've talked about the environment and we've focused on that. And I know that was a big issue for me. Um, but the thing that you did say that surprised me was it's not just in terms of the eco, it's in terms of our own personal health and the
Yeah.
effect of top tips on keeping your vaginal health in the clear is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, so it's been amazing for me in this business in the past 4.5 years to see how much more confident people are in talking about periods. There's much less stigma about it than there used to be, especially in just 4 years. But we don't talk about thrush or like what we experience down there still at all. It's huge to be when actually 3 in 4 of us that menstruate experience thrush. So yeah, it's a high proportion of us that experience that. And we don't need to say if you have or not, but it's super itchy, super uncomfortable. You can't concentrate, and it's really aggravated by the period products that you use. You're more likely to contract thrush in the first 2 days of your menstrual cycle, but also if you're experiencing dryness sensitivity, such as when you're going through when you're perimenopausal. And so, as I mentioned with the bin liner, if you've got plastic in a pad that's creating that moist, humid environment, then it's creating an environment where candida and the yeast thrush can proliferate. So you're more likely to get it from that humid environment. But not only that, the humidity can increase friction and more likely cause a rash or chafing. If you've experienced, a lot of us experience chafing of pads. That's a lot of it's because of the plastic in mainstream brands. And if you are perimenopausal and more subject to dryness sensitivity and you get that rash, then it's more likely to be even, much sorer and much more uncomfortable. So it's having this choice of like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to use any plastic ridden period products or steering away from mainstream, and instead opting for hypoallergenic, breathable, zero plastic, natural products like Mooncup, whether it's the pads, the pants, the tampons, whatever it is, and just knowing that you can actually work with the hormonal changes that are happening rather than against them.
Mm. Absolutely fascinating. So, and you're right, actually. I think a lot of people experience urinary tract infections. Then, if you take antibiotics, you're more likely to many of us get thrush as a result. So, you're in this cycle. So, whatever you can do to sort of break that cycle, and
Totally, yeah.
products that are more natural really do help. I can
Yeah.
see Sally's getting quite a few questions. So, I'll ask Sally to join us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, people saying that a typical comment, and this is very much how I feel, wish they'd had products like this around 20 years ago, because they weren't around. And I think it's so wonderful that there is now this choice and people can make those choices. So, start first of all, is how comfortable is a moon cup for menopausal women with vaginal dryness, burning, or that general discomfort?
That's a great question. So as I mentioned with the menstrual cup, rather than absorb menstrual blood, it collects it. So if you think of a tampon, sometimes tampons are uncomfortable if you experience vaginal dryness because it can start absorbing the tampon can start absorbing other stuff rather than the menstrual blood. So it can be sometimes painful if you're more likely to have dryness to pull it out because of that. It's absorbed other things that have helped to create the environment as moist as it can be. So because the moon cup collects it, it's not absorbing anything it doesn't need to. So it supports keeping it or supporting of not adding to that dryness, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know you talked about, was it 3 small tampons? It's equivalent. It was 3 tampons. People were asking, is it small tampons? What kind of
It's
flow would you
regular.
be? So 3 regular tampons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So someone's asked, this may be a bit too technical question, but I have a retroverted cervix uterus. Is Mooncup easy to use in my case?
So with that, I would recommend going to have an appointment with your doctors or with a nurse, and just asking them about it because um, I'm not a medical professional and all our bodies are different. But it's good if you've got questions like that just to ask your doctor because they are well versed in menstrual cups and the usage of those. So if you've got a specific question about how you know your body to be, then I would go to them first.
Okay. A lot of people have asked about combinations of things. So someone has said, do you need to wear pads when you've got the Mooncup? And I think, again, there's maybe that for anyone that's never used it before, there may be that feeling of anxiety around, does it really work? And do I need some backup? And just, so any thoughts around that?
Great question. So back to the kind of um, in using a moon cup, you actually, because it doesn't absorb, it collects. You can actually wear it when you're not menstruating, which I know sounds crazy. So what that means is you can insert it and wear it and get used to it when you're not bleeding. So you can get comfortable with that insertion, with the wearing it, comfortable removing it. And then when you feel comfortable, then when you do come on your period, you're more likely to feel that reassurance because you've already got used to it. So there's no need to wear a pad when you're using the cup. It's just can be for extra reassurance if you like. But as I said, if you get used to wearing it when you're not menstruating, then then you've already kind of satisfied that kind of anxiety. And we always recommend removing it the first time in the shower, just again for like your own, not because you have to or by any means, but again just from that reassurance side of realizing this, it actually doesn't, you don't bleed as much as you think you do, and it's kind of like quite eye-opening that actually, wow, this is what I thought it was going to be crazy, but actually it's a tiny, it's not as much as you think. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can use a liner or a period pad just to have that reassurance, but there's no need to once you've got comfortable with it.
Okay, brilliant. And someone's talked about, we've talked obviously around from a cost point of view, the initial cost of something like period pants or Mooncup may feel, a cost that people have got to pay, but obviously long term that then obviously lasts a lot longer. So someone asks, how long should you use the same menstrual cup for? Or how long can you use period pants for? And is there a recommended length of time that you wear these for in a day?
Yeah, so nothing should be inserted for longer than 8 hours. There are other brands out there, menstrual cups, that will say you can wear it for longer, but they shouldn't be saying that. A lot of other brands are out there off the shelf, made by people who don't have periods or haven't understood the product. So yeah, wearing a moon cup for 8 hours maximum is what's recommended. And yeah, you can wear them for 10 years. We've got, as I said, mentioned someone who'd had it for 20 years. It's just actually you might need to change size based on age and whether or not you've had a baby vaginally. So for example, we've got 3 sizes for teens, so up to 18 years of age. Aged 18 to 30 is size B, like before birth. So if you're aged 18 to 30 and or haven't had vaginal birth, and then size A, which is like after birth if you've had vaginal birth and or aged over 30. But we've got an amazing customer service team, so if anyone were to buy one and have the questions like which size, you can just drop us an email, drop us a message on Instagram, and we can support you. And we also do a money back guarantee, so if you were to get the wrong size, we can swap it free of charge once we've talked through some troubleshooting. So it's you can have that reassurance that you've not paid for something it's wrong. We can support you.
Fantastic. And someone's saying that they've got a menstrual cup, but they really struggle to use it when they've got period pain, so in the first few days. So any thoughts or advice? And again, is this about the using maybe different varieties of products depending what stage of your period you're at?
I would actually recommend that whoever sent that to drop us a message on our customer service, and we can speak to you directly about that. Because yeah, it should be okay. So maybe it's the fact, maybe it's how it's sitting. We could just like maybe it needs a slight difference in how you're inserting it, and so it feels more comfortable. But yeah, but absolutely, we do have a range of different typologies. So maybe all our bodies are different. It might just be that it's better for you to be using something else. But yeah, please drop us a message on our customer service, and we can help you with that.
Thank you. And a lot of people are saying, so many products have got perfume in that causes irritation. So they're so pleased that there are now these products available because again, there's no perfume or anything in the products. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. So absolutely zero irritants, zero perfume, zero fragrance. I think what's crazy to know is that there is currently no legislation for period care brands to not only reveal what's in the period products, but also to determine what can and can't go in. So you and I, Sally, could make a pad today and put chili in it or salt or pepper, and it could be able to go to market, for example. So it's you won't find the ingredients of most brands on shelf, but you will find them on ours. We'll always be transparent. Um, so yeah, absolutely zero fragrance, dyes,
Yeah,
anything random, nasty. We're just fully natural, breathable, gynecologically approved, clinically tested, hypoallergenic. And we are recommended by pharmacists to help prevent and reduce dryness sensitivity as well.
yeah.
Um,
And someone's asked around, they've tried some different brands of period products and they find them too hot. So hormones, so they're very much in that perimenopause, and just again that breathability and that kind of less hot feeling. Just anything you can talk about there.
Yeah, so again, the heat that you feel from period products is probably because that period, if it's a pad, is made of, if it's mainstream, it's made of 95% plastic, or if it's an eco equivalent and contains SAP in it, that's also a plastic. So it's again like putting a bin liner in your pants, it's going to create heat, whereas our products contain zero plastic, zero SAP. So yeah, they help maintain the vagina's natural microbiome and as I said, work with your body rather than making it a more uncomfortable environment.
Yeah, absolutely. So and we've got loads of questions. We are going to, if we don't get through them all, the Mooncup team very kindly said that they'll answer any questions which we'll put in the article that accompanies the recording of this session. So please don't worry if we don't get to every question. It's amazing we've got so many. I think somebody's approaching this very much, this is where I've got a massive interest in from my own daughters and how they manage this at school. So a question around her daughter, school age, love her to try Mooncup, but the school toilets have public sinks. Any thoughts on how to manage that?
Yeah, so with a moon cup with a public sink, so we do have a cleaning pot, so you can purchase our cleaning pot on our website or with some of our retailers like Holland and Barrett. And the cleaning pot basically it's like a collapsible dog water bowl. It's the best way to describe it. And you put water in it at the sink, take that into the cubicle, and then obviously empty the moon cup there. Empty the menstrual blood from the moon cup, pop it in the cleaning pot that has the water in from the sink that you put it in before the cubicle, give a little swish, and then empty out, and then you can reinsert it. Or your daughter could have or whoever's using it could have a bottle of water in your bag, and when you go in the cubicle, you just need to rinse it. So there's all of that side. But also, we're speaking a lot to councils, schools, loads of businesses, so that access to products can be given in businesses and schools, so that there's more places that you can have free access basically to products like ours. So if
Yes.
anyone's got any questions about that, let me know.
There's lots on your website, actually, Emily. I was just, if you saw my eyes darting around, I was actually on your website and looking for some of the questions and top tips that you give for insertion, because somebody put in the question that, or in the chat, that they'd inserted it too high. So it does
Okay.
have a lot of instructions in there. And just another quick one. It said, when do you plan to offer the pants for larger sizes? But it looks to me like you do.
Yeah, we have new period pants coming soon. So I really recommend anyone signs up to our newsletter because we've got some quite exciting updates coming in the new year. So watch this space. But yeah, we have 4 different sizes at the moment in the period pants. But again, drop us a message if you have a question about sizes, and we speak to you directly about what's coming and when. And then with regards to insertion, yeah, we've got tons of guides, helpful guides online, as you mentioned, but also it's just important to relax. You can almost squat, put your leg on the bath, insert it there. You get used to it when you're not menstruating again, so you have that kind of extra reassurance and doesn't feel like it's the end of the world if it's not right.
Well, that's absolutely. Thank you very much for coming and sharing all of that. It's absolutely just blew our minds when we heard it, Sally. It was a remarkable meeting that we had with the team way back when. And thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. It was great to see the comments in there. I mean, we didn't know this was available. These products were available. It's been a long time, perhaps since somebody handed me my first pad and said, that's what you're going to be using for the next how many years? So it's great to keep your eye on this. And, there was one other comment that I thought was interesting around scents, and somebody says, it makes me really angry about what's in period products and fragrances and things. And actually, that's a marketing thing for some areas, isn't it? It says,
Yeah.
A nice, fresh, blah, blah, blah is actually a marketing ploy. But the
Yeah.
reality is go for the things that are good for the planet, but most importantly, good for you too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you shouldn't need to use anything with dyes or fragrances. Our vaginal microbiome is naturally quite self-cleaning. So there's no need to have any of these additional things. It's more that these brands are just wanting to hook you in with something else because they can't tell you that they're natural or that they're breathable or they're hypoallergenic because they're made of 95% plastic. So I guess they're just trying to find another way in, but it's totally unnecessary to have any of those additives. Not just to have them, but also just for your health. It's not good for you to use those. So hopefully this has been really helpful. I would love to answer any questions if anyone wants to pick up with me separately. If you type Emily Mooncup into LinkedIn or drop me an email, it's emily@wearemooncup.com. emily@wearemooncup.com. Yeah, hopefully that helped.
Oh, you're on mute, Deborah.
And thank you very much, everyone, for joining us and for all of your questions. It's such a supportive community. And thank you, Sally, for looking after those questions, and Emily. And thanks to you and your team, not just for bringing this to our awareness, but for joining us today and telling us all about it. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Have a lovely rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.